People of the realm, season 6 is well and truly over, and just like we've waited years for Baelish to decide on his accent and where he's actually from, we've also waited on the wildest of wildfire wickedness to actually appear. And now that it has, it's promptly burnt the majority of the Tyrells to a crisp. So this video is all about Olenna and what's in store for her in season 7. Westerosi and Essosi. For those of you who have yet to visit the Citadel and read any of the books, fear not, for this video contains just my ponderings and predictions based on the show alone. So here's a quick recap on her story. Lady Olenna Tyrell was born into House Redwyne. That's one of the Tyrell strongest bannermen and home to the majority of the Tyrell's navy, and also the best lot of wine this side of the Dornish Marches. She is called the Queen of Thorns as not only does she effectively rule House Tyrell, but she does so with a sharp tongue, hence the play on words. As we all know, the Tyrell sigil is a rose and roses have thorns. There we go, you've been schooled. Olenna has been entertaining us viewers with her wit and put downs for the last 3 seasons. But she's been so much more than just comedy relief. She has effectively been responsible for the game in King's Landing, and by game I mean the Game of Thrones. We know that she allied her family with the Lannisters, and this was to position her granddaughter Margaery into a marriage with the then King Joffrey. But unlike Joffrey, Olenna is not a monster. She's more of a monster slayer, for along with Peter Baelish, the two arrange to poison the king, which they do. The scheme is so successful, not only does Joffrey die, but now doubt is cast on Tyrion, and soon we have a mini Lannister civil war where Cersei believes that Tyrion has killed her firstborn son. Olenna in the meantime was striking an agreement to have the now widowed Margaery wed to Tommen, who'd be swapping Sir Pounds for Margaery. Now you can insert the horrible Sandsnake quote here. And off she goes back to Highgarden. Now this is until Margaery, who is now queen and married to Tommen, calls her back into the fray. It turns out the Faith Militant is causing more havoc and is only one person who can sort it all out, the Queen of Thorns. And even though we know how it all turns out, Lady Olenna, she did have an impact. For example, when Baelish gave Oliver to the High Sparrow as proof of Loras's sins, did he actually know that Olenna would force his hand and in turn get the location of Lancel Lannister and use this to implicate Cersei in her sinful acts and force her arrest? So Cersei's arrested, she's gone through quite a lot of things, she does her walk of atonement and then she's released until her trial. Marge is due up next, but Tommen actually strikes a deal, saves the day and prevents any possible bloodshed by joining the crown with the faith. Margaery's walk of atonement is forfeit, but Olenna realises that she's been outmaneuvered and once again she decides to head home. And then the Sept of Baelor explodes with all inside. Cersei stole the future from me, she killed my son. She killed my grandson. She killed my granddaughter. Survival is not what I'm after now. Very powerful words coming out of Olenna there. So now that we're all caught up, what is next for Olenna? Well, firstly, the good news. She manages to put down 3 sand stakes in 10 seconds, sadly only with words and not with swords. Her motivations in season 7 are purely vengeance. So does that mean that we have lost the calculating Queen of Thorns? Possibly. It's kind of been proven already, as in her final scenes, one minute she's actually talking about vengeance, and the next minute she's already agreed to join Dany, and you can actually see the Tyrell fleet are with Dany in the scene along with some Martells as well. So we don't know if Lady Olenna is actually with them. I kind of hope she is, because more seen with her and Varys are always welcome, but clearly she's jumped into that with both feet. So here is my prediction. Somewhere in the back of my mind in the dark recesses, I think the Reach is going to have its own problems, and I think that someone will try and claim it. Now that's not news for book readers, but as this is based on the show alone, what if Randyll Tarly was about to make a play for the Reach along with the Hightowers? Now remember that Old Town is home to the Maesters, who clearly are against magic and, more importantly, their creations which involve dragons as well. As for Randyll's motives, well, he only needs one: opportunity. He is the greatest general of the Reach and can smell blood in the water. And I get the feeling they're kind of making him the new Roose. We'll see how that plays out, but it would be a nightmare for Olenna to have a war on two fronts, one civil within her own realm and the other against Dany's enemies. Would this be too much for the old woman to bear? I hope for everyone's sake that she doesn't go and do an Aemon and die in a ship in a certain battle that I've mentioned before. Olenna's ultimate goal is to get revenge on Cersei, and what better way would she have than to drive division into the remaining Lannister ranks, and maybe plant the seed with Jaime that he needs to act or might be forced to in the future. Now that would be a revenge worthy of song, although I don't think she'll live to see it. The fires of Theory grow cold for now. I'm really looking forward to seeing Lady Vengeance, or the Queen of Thorns, act out a plan rather than jumping in head first. Now what do you think about this video? Would you like to see more Character 7 prediction videos? And I'd also love to hear what you think about the Queen of Thorns. As always, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and comment, as it really helps. And if you're interested on channel updates, you can check them out on Twitter too. That's the shameless promotion over with. So gather your furs, down your favourite swill and be on your way. But remember, I am the Northlander, you know nothing, and neither do I.